Yeah, good evening all. So we can start now. So let's go with the arrays. Yeah.
Yes, sir, we can start, sir.
Okay, sir. So we were doing about the equations and all, and now we are moving on to how to create the arrays. So the command for creating the arrays is /begin array, and we can provide the justification sort of alignment for that. And is /end array, and then inside the array, in this particular sort of example, there are it's a kind of 3 by 3 matrix. So there are 3 rows and 3 columns are there. Now we can provide the alignment for these 3 columns. Okay, so inside this justification, we can provide what sort of justification is needed for each columns. So in this example, for the first column, the alignment provided is right alignment. Then for the second one, it's a centered alignment, and for the third column, it's left alignment that's been provided. And all these arrays are kept inside a round bracket, that is /left round bracket. So we can keep inside the brace or a square bracket also. The command will be /left square or /left braces, left brace. Okay, and then we can provide this rows. The rows can be separated. Rows can be separated by a backslash, double backslash. Okay, the rows can be separated by double backslash, and each column entries can be separated by an ampersand symbol. Okay, so these are the things that will be coming in those while creating the arrays or the tables. For creating the tables, also the command and entire thing is and the table. Okay, then for the table, the command will be tabula. So that's the only difference. So here we can see it's a tabula, and for creating array, it is array. Okay, so that's the only difference. So the remaining portions means for creating each cell by cell values, we can separate it by the ampersand symbol, and a new line can be represented as, or a new row can be represented as 2 backslashes. Then we can provide the vertical and horizontal lines also for the table. In the case of array, no need of placing these lines, and also that's why the justification provided is the braces. But in case of table, we can provide these vertical lines also. Okay, why these justifications are represented inside these vertical lines? So that means each column should be separated by vertical lines. And we can provide horizontal line using this hline command also. Using hline command, we can provide the horizontal lines for the tables. So again, how we can change the things. Just I am just copy pasting this one. Yes, madam. It's very good for people from statistical or mathematical or this programming side. All finds applications, and especially for the documentation, or even though there are no equations used and only the images or figures are there, then also it finds applications for the medical field or any sort of kind of field. We can find applications for the documentation purpose. And specifically, if you are using some sort of equations or symbols, then it's quite easy. So this is the array that we have created right now, and for the first column, the alignment was right. Okay, so just I am just changing it as centered alignment. So let's see what is happening. So no changes are visible order. See, then again, no changes, isn't it? I had changed the alignment to left, right, and center. So no changes since that's a single letter. No need of bothering about these kind of alignments and all. Okay, any sort of justification that we can provide, it doesn't matter. Okay, suppose if we are providing some letters that more than greater than one, then that have some meaning. That means if I am providing, instead of this alpha, I am telling it as just providing a variable called xyz. Okay, let it be like that. Now I am keeping it as a left align. See, we can see now it's aligned towards left. Okay, and now suppose I am just providing it as a central align. See, now it's aligned central. Similarly, we can provide right element also to that particular column. See, so this is how we are providing the alignments, and that's only confined to the elements. If there are more than one digits or more than one letters, if we are providing, so then only we need to get concerned about these kind of justifications, or else only single digit or a single element is there, then no need to worry about these kind of elements. We can give either right, center, or left, whatever it may be. It look like alike. Okay, and then we can provide these double lines also. Okay, these double lines, double backslash is provided in order to specify that now we are going or moving on to a new row. Then we can change the bracket also. We can change the bracket, and we can provide as braces, or we can create square brackets also. The braces is for working.
Antonio sir, any issues?
Left brace and right brace. Yes, sir. No issues, sir. No issues.
Any issues? Any issues?
No, sir. No.
Any problem? No. Okay. Carry on.
No, sir. No problems. See, now we can provide the command like left brace and right brace, so that that particular array is confined with the inside a left and a right brace. So similarly, we can provide this square bracket also. So that will be looking like a matrix. See. So this is how you can provide change the bracket or brace or brackets. So we have options in the menu also. See, here we can see a drop down, and we can see all the things that we can provide over there. Then round bracket is there, square bracket is there, then braces are there, then left hand side. So all these kind of things are provided. Okay, and the right side also there are a lot of options that we can provide in the while creating the arrays and all. Okay, so that's it about creating these kind of arrays. And one more thing I would like to show is that there's a wizard also. So here there is a wizard for quick array. So here we can specify the number of columns and number of rows so that automatically that template will be available. Okay. So I was telling about the ampersand symbol that needs for separating each element by element, and double slash for separating each row by row. So all these things can be specified, okay, using this particular wizard. So just we can tell that it's a 3 by 3 sort of thing, and the columns are aligned center, left or right. We can choose either of these options, and whether it is a array matrix or this P matrix, B matrix, etc. So I just am choosing this as a matrix, and just click on OK. See, the template is coming. Just now we need to input the values, input the elements that is confined to all these places. Okay, so that's the only thing that we need to do. So that's the beauty of using these kind of editing things. Okay, similarly, we can create the tables also. See, the wizard provides an option for creating tables. Here also we can provide the number of rows and columns required. So that depends on our requirement, and we can specify whether it should be aligned left, center, or something like that. Then we can provide vertical separators. We can provide double lines or single lines, or none can be provided. Then a horizontal separator can be provided. So this will be the template for a 4 by 4 tabular column with a 4 column and a 4 number of rows. So this alphabets over there for creating. See the table that we have created. Okay, and if you don't want these horizontal lines everywhere, we can just delete that. So it will be looking like this. No horizontal lines in between. Or else, if you want to provide the horizontal lines to the title alone, then we can provide that. Then we can provide central alignment to the table also. We can align it centrally. So that means before this begin center, we can provide begin center. Begin center and end center, and this table, the entire thing for the table should be inside the begin center and end center. So that now the table is placed centrally. Okay. Now we can provide the captions also. We can provide the captions also. Sample table. So that should be. So some error is coming. Caption outside float. Yeah, let me provide one more command and just see whether it is working or not. So begin table, we can provide another command called begin table. Now I am placing this tabular inside this command called begin table. And inside the table, I am specifying the command for creating the caption. Yeah. Now we can see the table is created, but it's not centered. So what we want to do is that just inside this table environment, we can provide another command called centering. See, now the table is centered, and now we can give the caption also. And now we can just move on to the table of list of tables. See, we can here we can see the number, table number, the name of the table, as well as the page number in which it belongs. Okay, so that's how we create the caption as well as we create numbering for the tables. Then here we can provide the label also. We can provide the label and just name just T1. And here we can type some text over here. Begin a paragraph. And the same title just from the table. And now I need to refer this, isn't it? Refer T1. So T1 was the table that is provided for that particular table. So I'm just referring that from the table. It is seen that. See. So it is automatically numbered from the table 1.1. It is in that. Okay. So I will just copy paste this command in the command box. So those who are not seeing it properly, you can just copy from the message. Okay, so that's it about how to create the tables, etc. or the arrays. And using this table, we can align it centrally or left alignment, or we can provide right alignment, and the numbering, then label can be provided, etc. And one more thing, we can place the table in the top. Okay, here we can mention about the how we need to place the table. So just we can type the command for placing. Just see whether it will be in the top or not. So there are a lot of commands. The place where we difficulty while we are dealing with this LaTeX. Some of the placing commands are H is there, small letter H is there, small letter H is there, then small letter B is there. Okay, so what happens with the LaTeX is that it will be optimizing the space. It will be optimizing the space. So suppose if you have some 10 figures and we need to place it below each and every one paragraph, after one paragraph, figure should be there, and that paragraph contains explanation of that particular figure, etc. But in LaTeX, it may happen that all the figures may fall at the last page, or at the end of all these paragraphs, all these figures will be present. So it, like we say, it's very difficult for the rearrangement and all. So some sort of placing commands are there, like T, if we are placing the T command, that means that particular figure is at the top. Then D command means at the bottom of every page it can be placed, and a small letter H can be used for placing it at the instant where that we are providing the command, or HT can be provided. So these are some of the suppressing techniques in order to place that particular figure into our desired space. Okay, so this is the place where we find it difficult because it will be floating here and there. Okay, so that's a difficult area, and it is to adjust this. In Word, what we do is we take the image or the contents in order to fit into a particular page. Like what algorithm will do is that it will be trying to optimize the space so that it will be giving more preference to the text contents, and it will try to arrange all the in the desire to place that particular figure. So that is a one major problem that we'll be facing while creating the documents based on this LaTeX. So we need to be familiar with these kind of contents. The elements that can be used for placing them at the specified places. Then again, it will be forming some sort of things. So we need to provide some spacing or something like that, and we need to plan around it in order to place it in our desired space. Okay, so that's it about the table and the spacing portion. Then now comes the multi-line equation. So we were discussing about the math environment, then we had discussed about the arrays, and then I had shown how we are giving numbering to the equations and all using the begin equation. Now if we have some multiple lines of equations, that means if we are showing some derivations and all, if we are showing some derivations and all, there will be a lot of equations will be there, and one by one below it will be coming and we will be simplifying. So that's a lengthy one. Okay, so in order to create such equations, what we can do is that we create all those in an equal array environment. Okay, so there's an example also. So I'm just copying it here. I don't know whether this will be combining. Yeah, we can. Yes. Yes. I will use one package also here. Use package AMS Math. AMS Math. Okay, so that package is generally used if you are creating some equations and all. Okay, for creating equations and all, that package is being used. So it's good to use that package called AMS Math. So the command is use package AMS Math. See, now it's in a separate form. Okay, I don't know whether you had noticed initially. So I'll just keep this as a comment. Okay, for we can just give percentage symbol. Percentage symbol denotes that that particular line is just a comment. Okay, so I'm just changing it as a comment so that that will not be treated as a command anymore. Now I will show the difference. See, here the equation is beginning from here, and later it is moving on to the next page, and in between that, the table is coming. See, in between that, that particular table is coming. So it's not that much good, isn't it? In between the derivation, we don't want that kind of tables. So it's better to use a math environment, and that package can be used. So that will be treated as a single equation, and so that it won't be permitting any figures or tables to come in between that particular equation. Okay. See, now if you are looking, we can see that the entire equation is at the bottom of that particular table. Okay. So that's it. And if we need to number this array or the equation, we can just remove that asterisk symbol so that that can be numbered. See, each and every line of that particular equation is numbered now. Okay, so already we have created one equation. This 1.1 is there. And each and every line is being numbered now. So that's how this numbering is happening in the equations and all. So that's it about the creating an array of equations. And here we are using another command called mbox. Mbox means if we need to specify any sort of text and all, we can use an mbox command, and that's used especially in the case of these equations. In the equation environment, inside our math environment, if you want to specify any sort of text inputs, we can use this mbox command, and in this mbox command we are specifying that it's n copies, and n is placed inside the math environment, so that's why it's like an italics one, like a variable. And this copies means that's a text one, and so we can see it as a text input only. So this is how we can specify the text inputs in a math environment. Okay. Earlier we had seen that we are specifying math environment in a text, or in between the sentence we can specify this math environment inside a dollar symbol. Okay, likewise we can use this mbox command in order to specify the text inside a math environment. Now moving on to dots. So before explaining this, I will show a matrix. So mostly you might have seen this kind of matrix in many of the textbooks, isn't it? So there will be a lot of lines like this. Some horizontal dots will be there, vertical dots will be there, then diagonal dots will be there. So these dots can be created using these commands. See, these C dots for center height dots can be created using the C dots. Then this /D dots can be used for creating diagonal dots in a matrix, and this L dots /L dots can be used for lower height dots. Then this /V dots can be used for vertical dots. Okay, so these are some of the commands that can be used to show the continuity, or some sort of values are there in between. So this is an example for that. So we are using an array over here. That's a 3 by 3 kind of matrix. So 3 columns are there, and all are centrally aligned also. Then we are specifying the first element, and in the first row, first column, we are specifying an element A subscript 11. So 11 should be in a subscript. That's why it's both are inside a single brace. Then we are providing a center dot is being provided. So here the center dot will be coming. Then here A_1n. Then again vertical dots, then diagonal dot, and again one vertical dot is being provided. Then the last row, mth row, A_m1 ampersand, then again center dot, and finally mn. So that will be a kind of m by n matrix. Okay, we can represent an m by n matrix generally like this, isn't it? So this is how we can create an array with these center dots, diagonal dots, and vertical dots. Okay, so this is another example for that. Now, actually, we had already explained this for centering. The command, there are 2 types of command that we can use. One is begin center and end center, and another sort of command is /centering. So both of things I have shown in this example. I created the tables. And in the beginning, we were discussing about the page styles, isn't it? So in the beginning, we were telling that page style, my headings can be provided, page style heading can be provided, then empty can be given for the page style, and plain page style can be provided. So these are the four types that we have discussed. And in our case, we have provided the page style as page style heading. See, this is the heading that is being created for that particular chapter. Okay, so this is the page. This is the first page of the first chapter, and now we have moved to the second page, and we can see the title of that particular chapter on the second page, chapter 1, documentation, and also at the same time we can see the page number also. Okay, so this is how, as a default, this heading will be provided. And now, if you want to specify any sort of headings to this particular document, we can use page style my heading, and we can specify the heading what we actually want to specify. Okay, so the commands used are headings, and this is marked right, means at the right side you can specify the headings. Okay, so that means slash mark type, so that will be the heading will be coming or appearing on the right side of your page, and you can provide the heading order. So that's a command, and let's see how it look like. So in the page style, I am providing it as my headings. In the page style, I am providing it as my headings, and then this command can be provided mark right. Okay, mark right, and we can specify our own heading order. Mark right. Then I am providing the heading same as that of the heading of the document, title of the document, that text tutorial. See, now the title is changed. Okay, now the title is changed, and it's now named as a LaTeX tutorial. So that's how we are providing our own headings, that what we decide. Okay, or else you can just provide the page style as heading, so that each pages inside a particular chapter, that coming chapter will be having the name of or the heading of that particular chapter. Now coming on to the listing part, okay, we can provide numbering as well as the bullets can be provided using this LaTeX environment. So the command for this is itemize, begin itemize for bullet, and begin enumerate for this numbering. Okay, so we can look an example for this. So first of all, we can provide some bullet points. So just I am taking as begin itemize. Okay, so inside this, each item should be each bullet point should be specified by a command called slash item. So I am providing slash item, then post points, then another point as again as slash item. I am switching it as a second point, then one more, third point. See, this is how our bullet points will become. Okay, now if you wish, we can provide the numberings into this particular thing itself. Just we can change it as, instead of itemize, we can change it as enumerate. See, first point, second point, and third point, it's numbered. So this is how we create this items or the bullet points as well as this numberings can be provided. Now filling a line. So this is another important thing. So we can specify the horizontal space. If we want a horizontal space in between two lines, it's a decide at a particular point. That's usually done in the case of if you are making some acknowledgements or some certificate sort of things. We should keep some spaces in between yeah, at some lines, isn't it? In case of certificate, if it's a project report, if it's a project report and the signature portion, if you understand, put some signature and all, there should be some horizontal space should be provided in that particular space. So those spaces can be specified using this command called hspace, and then we can specify the length also order. So we can have a look onto it. See here, I am going to provide an hspace. Hspace I am telling it as a 2 centimeter. So the space will be in between. Okay. So if you are doing this, you can give more number of space. And now it has a 5 centimeter. So that will be providing a vertical space, and it is also having a limit. So that's another using this LaTeX. We cannot specify the dimensions as per our wish. It will be providing a particular sort of vertical space, and then it will be what sort? It will be stopping over there. Okay, so that we can see as an example over here can be provided, and the vertical space and the horizontal space. See, it's having a vertical space now. Is there, vertical space is there, and here it is having a horizontal space of 5 centimeter. This text content is 5 centimeter apart from the left margin. Okay, so that's how we are specifying this horizontal as well as the vertical space. Now another command is hfill. Hfill means suppose we have two words. I am saying two words over here. Hello world. I am saying as a hello world, and this I am compiling. Now it's like this. Okay. Now if I am saying a command called hfill, what happens is that the entire line will be filled. The first word will be at the left side and the second word will be at the rightmost end of that particular line. Okay, so that's the beauty of this hfill command. Then another commands are dot fill and hrule fill. Okay, using this dot fill, the entire the in between space will be filled with a dot, and if you are using a horizontal rule, the entire space in between will be filled with a horizontal line. So we can see it. Hrule fill. In between this yellow and gold, a dash is being provided in such a way that it is fitting the entire line, isn't it? So similarly, we can provide dot also. Dot fill. See. So this is how we are putting the things using this horizontal fill, dot fill, and H rule fill. Now moving on. The next is line break. So it's the most important thing. As I had told before, this LaTeX will be trying to optimize the contents and it will be trying to fill the entire space in an optimum manner. And we don't know whether that words should be kept as in a single line or not. So it may happen that if the same name of a Dr. XYZ or Mr. XYZ, etc. What happens is that this Mr. and Doctor or Miss will be on one line and the name will be occurring on the next line. So that's not a desirable one, isn't it? So what we used to do is that we will be using a tilde symbol. We will be using this symbol, tilde symbol, will be used in between. Okay, so that should be used in between these words, or we don't wish to break a line. So that means the entire word will be occurring in a single line itself. So that's a one case. And the next case will be in the case of this units, if you are mentioning. The values will be in a particular line and its unit will be in the next line. LaTeX don't know whether it should be represented as a single thing or not. So it will be just trying to optimize the space. Okay. So in that case also, if that is happening, we can use a tilde symbol in between so that this will be occurring in a single line itself. Okay. So that's a place where we are using this kind of tilde symbols. Then comes an important bibliography. So this can be created using two different ways. Either we can create using a begin bibliography and end bibliography style, and we can name all bib items over there, and we can do it manually. We can just label, we can represent, or we can number it manually, or whatever things, or we can just automate the entire thing. Okay, so these are the two ways, and I will show both these ways how to do it. So first way we can use this begin bibliography and end bibliography command. And we can provide the widest label also so that it will get an idea. Okay, suppose if we are providing some 10 references, we can provide the value as 10. Or if it is not, then maybe it will be around some 60 or 70 references will be there, so that we can provide the values as 100. Or if it's going beyond 100, we can provide a higher value. Some 200 or something like that can be provided. Okay, so that will be having an idea how much numbers will be there. Then now, next thing that you want to provide is bib item. Bib item can be provided and label also is necessary. Yeah, second one. So we can provide the label here as reference one. System giving a default label. That's it. Okay, reference one, and I am giving as name, then double quotes title, and year. So here it will be created like this. Okay, reference one, name, title, year, etc. That will be created like this. So we can provide a label also over here if you wish. and here the number can be provided 1. So in bibliography now the number is there, then name, title, what are sort of things that we can provide as an input, we can provide. Okay. Now suppose if you want to provide a reference, the command is cite. Cite we can already we have provided the label as a reference one, so we can see as reference one label is there, so we can just click on to that. So here the command for citing is /cite. Okay, if we are going to refer the table, the labels that is provided in the table, equation, or figures, etc., the command will be /ref. So that's the difference over here. And now if you are citing that another part, see it's getting number. Here we can see the number hello world, then citation number 1 is there, and particularly the reference also coming. Okay, so this is one method. Now another thing is that we can create another file, bit file. We can create and now we need to provide these kind of details in this. Okay, we need to provide these kind of details in this, and that's quite time-consuming task, isn't it? We may have some 100+ references, and then we need to provide these entire things. We need to fill the entire field for all these kind of references, and we need to look whether it's a conference publication or the proceedings, book, article, technical letter, or something like that. So for all these particular purpose, we can find many sort of fields are there that's required. Okay, it's a quite tedious task, isn't it? So what will we do? Is it possible for us to fill the entire this 100 things in this particular format? It will take much time. So if we are going to fill all these things, we may think that, oh, yeah, it's better to use Word, don't go for LaTeX, because while giving reference, it's very much difficult, isn't it? So what we are going to do is that we will be going to the Google Scholar. I'm just going to Google Scholar because it may contain almost all the articles. Okay, that's why I'm going to Google Scholar. Yeah, the Science Direct also are providing or any sort of standard publishers or like Springer or this ASME or Sage, etc., are also providing this facility. But since Google Scholar contains almost all the articles, that's why I am moving on to this Google Scholar. Okay. So it doesn't mean that this Google Scholar only contains this facility. Okay, doesn't mean like that. So you can search the journals that you need to provide the reference. Okay, so generally what we'll do is that we'll be having the title of those papers, isn't it? So I'll take from the journals that I have. See, suppose this is a journal paper and I need to provide the reference of this particular journal paper. What I am going to do is that I am just copying its title and just I am searching it in Google Scholar. See, this was the journal paper that I was looking for, isn't it? Just we can confirm with the title also. Omar Nyang, and it's a IEEE Transactions on Image Processing, volume 21, number 9, September 12. So that's it, isn't it? So what I am going to do is that just click on this double quote. Okay, just click on this double quote, and we'll be having the reference formats, and at the bottom you can see BibTeX. Okay, just click onto that. See, isn't it easy? Quite easy, isn't it? We are getting all the details that is required for us in the same format. See, just copy paste it. That's enough. So what we need to do is that if you have 100 or 1000 number of reference that we need to do, the only thing is that just copy the title, paste in Google Scholar, search for that, and go to the citation, click on the BibTeX, and we'll be getting the format. Just copy paste it. That's it. Okay. Then we have the label, so we can provide any sort of label that we remember it, or else we'll be in a trouble if you want to put the citation and all. We'll be in a trouble. So what I used to do is that I will be putting some like R1, R2, R3, R4, etc. So that it's quite easy for me to understand. Sometimes if you remember all the author's name, it's better to use the author name, Omar. Okay, we can provide the citation as Omar can be provided over here. Okay, and then just finish. And now moving back, at any point of text, yeah, here we can, this Leslie Lambo, here we can provide the command /site. And this should be coming over here. Okay, so that before that we need to compile it, and then we need to specify that one file we had created, now, and that should be taken for inserting the bibliography. Okay, so that should be specified. So that's a command like this. Bibliography style we need to specify. It can be plain style, so that will be default one. So at the bottom we can specify the bibliography style and the file name. This is my bib. My bib is the file that I had created. So now I am telling that all the details about the bibliography or the references is containing in this particular file called my bib. Okay, so just compile it. So it will be fetching all the details from that particular file. So it's better to compile it twice. Then only all the details will be obtained. Okay, now we can provide the citations. So here I am going to type comma. So while moving on to that particular thing, we can see the details also. Okay, these are the details, so that we can cross check it whether that's the type of the paper that actually we want to put the reference over there. Okay, is it quite easy, isn't it? For providing the reference, we don't need to get bothered about the if we are getting some templates of a particular so-called journals or a conference, they'll be providing all the bibliography style and everything that will be provided. The only thing that we need to do is that particular big file, we need to just use this Google Scholar for getting the informations in the BibTeX format and just copy paste that and finally put the citations. That's it. Okay, so just press enter. So that's a citation that's provided over there. And we don't need to get bothered about the ordering also. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. The first citation will be numbered as first itself. Second will be numbered as second itself. So likewise, it will be numbering according to the of citations that we are provided in the contents. Okay, so just don't need to get bothered about all this stuff. See, the reference is coming. So in the expected format of that particular template, here the format that we have specified is plain only, so that's why it's coming like this. So it's quite easy, isn't it? So mostly while preparing the articles and all, the hectic part is providing the citations. And if you have a lot of citations, we will be in trouble, isn't it? While putting the survey part and all, we need to number it, and then if we are adding in between, then we need to start numbering from the beginning. So it's a hectic one. So we can use this Google Scholar and this big file for creating the reference very easily and very quickly it will be created. So I recommend this Google Scholar because almost all the articles are present, or the text or the technical kind of things, almost all will be present inside this Google Scholar. That's why I'm mentioning it. Okay, you can use ScienceDirect also. I will show, but only the things that is present inside the ScienceDirect will be getting in that particular thing. So, anyways, I will show that also. So I'm just taking a journal from the ScienceDirect. And here we can see a site is there. So just click onto a site. And now options is there, export citation to BibTeX. Okay, what happens is that a file will be getting downloaded in this particular thing. So just then, first of all, we need to download that particular text file. Then we need to open that. So these are the details. So generally, the big files that is downloaded from the ScienceDirect will be contained abstract also. So that's actually we don't need this kind of things, isn't it? So it's quite difficult for us when compared with the Google Scholar, because it will be providing more information than what we actually required. And the other problem is that all these files need to be get downloaded from the website. Then we need to open that, then copy and then paste on the file, so that the number of tasks is getting increased. Okay, so that's why I won't recommend these kind of directories for getting the citations. So it's very easy for getting the citations from Google Scholar, so you can use that. Okay. Now another thing, including the graphics. So for including graphics, we need to use a package called Use Graphics. Okay, so just copy pasting it in the preamble. So that means it should be above this begin document. Okay, just I am pasting it over there. Now we can provide some graphic contents over here. So this is the command. This is the command for specifying the graphics file, #include graphics, and we can specify the height and width also. Okay, we can specify the height and width also, so that that size will remain as such. Okay, so either of these things can be used for inputting the graphic files, and we can put that inside a begin and end documents. So just type in the command in graphics. Graphics, include graphics, that file name. So here we can specify the file name. Okay, so that all the files should be inside the folder where we are saving this LaTeX file. So I have two graphic files. One is in a JPEG file and one is in EPS format. So is Sanjay sir, already these journals will be providing the big file. That means if we are downloading the this template from that particular journal, they will be providing this reference style and everything in their template. So just we don't need to get bothered about the style. The only thing is that we can just use that content in that big file and just compile it. That's it. It will be automatically coming in that particular format. The only thing is that we need to provide sufficient details for that. Okay, in some some journals, the author name will be provided. If there are 4 or 5 authors, the entire things will be provided. Entire author's name will be provided. In some journals, it will be like first author name et al. And et al will be in italics. And in some other format, the title of that particular journal will be in italics. Or in some journals, the title of the paper will be inside a double quote, etc. So we don't need to get bothered about that. If we are using the template of that particular journal, already the styling things and everything will be provided by them, and just we can use that big file and just what we call just provide all those details as what is required. Okay, that's the only thing that we need to do. And all these details will be available in the Google Scholar. So don't need to worry about all those things. Yeah, here we can see two files are there. So we can create these two things. I'm providing the file name over here. Then we can provide the caption also. So this is the figure that's created, and if you wish, we can do the centering also. So that will be placed at the center. Slash centering can be provided. So that's it about the how to insert a figure. Now I am inserting the same figure which is in the JPEG format. So I will be using this for comparing. Okay, the same figure is there, but the format is different, and I am just naming it as SIMBAN2. So this figure is in the JPEG format, and this one is in the EPS format. Okay, now I am moving on to the document that we have created right now. Sample.pdf. This is the document that we have created, and just we can zoom it and see how much clarity image that is possible. So this was the first one, and the first one, see, SIMBAN1. So this particular file is in the EPS format. Okay, please note that. And the second is in the JPEG format. Now I am going to zoom it 1,000 times. 1,600. Okay. See, this is a figure. Please look onto this figure only. Okay, don't look at the numbering and also let some sort of clarity is lost in that particular thing. But we are just focusing only on the figure because the lines that is being created not using vector graphics. That's why. See how clarity that image is looking like, even though if we are zooming it to 1,000. See, no, of the image. Every feature of that particular image is lost, isn't it? So if you are looking at that 100%, I mean, in the original size, it look okay. That's good. It seems to be okay. But if you are zooming that image, the entire thing is lost. Okay, so that's the beauty of using these EPS files. And now, just I will show in the Word file also. Just comparing. Okay, just for this comparing purpose only, I will show that. I'm just copy pasting the both the files. So this first file, I'm not giving the first file. This one is in the format, and the bottom one. This is the JPEG format. In this document, if you are looking, it seems that JPEG is having more clarity, isn't it? JPEG is having more clarity than this EPS file. It seems like that. And if you are zooming, what happens? Let's see. That's a maximum. We can provide only 500% zoom in Word. See, again, that clarity is not lost, isn't it? For an EPS file, the clarity is not lost, but when compared with that of the LaTeX file, the LaTeX is providing some more quality, isn't it? It seems that LaTeX is having much more quality than this particular Word file, even though the same file is being used in both the cases. And what about the JPEG? That will be horrible. See. It's horrible, isn't it? All the clarity is gone. So likewise, it's better to use the EPS kind of format if we are using for creating some documents and all, so that the quality of image will not be lost. And if we are using the LaTeX and all, it's very quite easy for us to use the EPS format of files. So that's just a comparison. And then finally, for a letter, we were discussing about the letter class also while discussing about the document class. So these are some of the commands that can be used for creating letters. So the three things that is very important is document class letter, then begin and some things are required in the preamble. So we can specify our address, then our signature and the date of the letter in the preamble. Preamble means the space between the document class and the begin document. Then inside the begin letter, inside the begin document, we can provide begin letter, and then we can type the contents, etc. Then put the greetings can be put like a slash opening here, the name can be provided. Then the closing can be provided slash closing sincerely. Then any carbon copies are there, we can provide the names. If any enclosures, we can provide the list of documents. And any can be provided and finally. So this is just a format of how to create letter in Slack. Okay, so these are the things, and we have, if you Google search, you can see tutorials are available. So I took the reference from LaTeX tutorial prepared by Jeff Clark. Okay, and this particular tutorial contains almost all the names of the symbols, Greek symbols or the mathematical symbols that can be used. Almost all the symbols and its names are being provided in this particular tutorial, so you can refer to that also. I can share that particular tutorial so that you can refer, and that will be helpful for you while preparing the contents using this particular LaTeX. Yes, sure, I share my mail ID. So this is my personal mail ID. You can contact for any clarifications regarding these things. So if you have any queries, you can ask right now.
Antonio sir, we have around 5 minutes remaining.
Yes.
So I think if the participants would like to have ask certain questions, they can raise it. Any questions? I can see around 61 people over here. 61 plus 5, 66 people or something. So if there are any questions, please tell that. Or at least someone can tell how the session was, or whether we should include such type of sessions in future, or you want something else. A very good session. That's what Ananda sir is telling.
Okay. Since there are no queries, I will show one more thing. Since we have 5 more minutes, one online thing for using the LaTeX is also available. That's called Overleaf. So you can sign up using your Google account.
Oh,
And
that's
if
really
you
good.
wish, you can use this online tool also. But I won't recommend to use these online things for creating your articles and all, because I don't know the privacy, how far privacy they can provide. Okay, so for creating some sort of documents and all, you can use these online tools. That's quite easy for us to use. We don't want this big tech or text studio. The environment will be as same as that of this text studio. So it's quite easy for us to use. But for our research works and all, if you are using this kind of things, I don't know how far security can be assured.
How you are telling, ma'am, sir? How you are telling that the security is actually questionable in this case, online
Because
case?
what we are uploading all the documents in this particular thing, and then we are creating the documents. So they have all the data with them in their server. This data will be available.
Oh, 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 oh.
So
Okay.
we cannot tell that utilizing or something like that. Since it's free, they can use it or not. That's up to them. Because recently we had seen news that 70% of the LinkedIn account data are being there in the for sale, isn't it?
Oh, LinkedIn data.
So
Okay.
yes.
Oh, that's
So
actually a hot.
that's happening nowadays.
Lot of information is available LinkedIn. So if it is available for
Yes.
sale, then lot of people will. There will be lot of takers for that. So that might be true.
Yeah,
Anyway.
sure. Yes, I will show a screenshot of one mail that I received last day. See, VK Shamsuddin is our chairman, and I had got a mail with his name saying that he need a help. Please reply as soon as possible. See, the signature VK Shamsuddin, chairman, managing trustee, and all. But the mail is different. Executive 394 at gmail.com. So it's a kind of phishing mail.
Okay.
So a
Okay.
lot of things are happening like this.
Now, how
So
do we know?
suddenly,
How do we see how it is possible for one to understand whether it is a phishing mail or not? Phishing mail or not?
that we need to look at the mail ID only, then only we will be able to understand.
So that means any mail
Since
ID.
I have in contact with him, I don't know. I know his mail ID personally. So
Okay.
when I checked the mail, it was different.
Okay. Okay.
So then only I knew that it was a phishing mail, and I just Google search it. This executive 394. I will show that. The same incident was reported at one more institute. They had provided in their website.
Oh. Acha, acha. So someone else also would have got the same mail ID, right?
Yes. Executive 394.
I think no one is having doubts in this, it seems. Yeah, is it showing something?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Oh, someone else also has got the same. Executive.
I mean, executive. See, this was the report from the on the same day that I had received the email. That mail was being sent to some other people also. See, this was from the Subharati University. So they are also telling that they had got the name from their honorable chancellors. Telling that. So while looking at this mail, suddenly we will be replying to him now.
So you
We
mean to
won't be
say that,
looking to the email.
sir, do you mean to say that, supposing we get such a mail, if we go to Google, we'll be in a position to know whether it is, a phishing mail? Is it possible for
No,
one to
sir,
do that?
it's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. Since it was reported by another university in their website, that's why I got while I am searching. So even if anyone is not, if no one is reporting, so we cannot get it.
That means we need to be careful. That's all. Nothing more than that.
Yes, we need to be careful.
Okay, okay, okay. Are there any other doubts? or shall we wind up the session? So, Antonio sir, thank you so much. This presentation was superb. To tell you frankly, I was not able to completely listen to your presentation today. Yesterday, I was able to listen to your presentation, but today some official issues came up in between, so I was not able to hear your presentation. But I understand that most of the people have gone through your presentation. Most of them have done that. Around 60 odd people, 60 or 70 people, between 70 to 80 people were there, and some of those people have already installed the software and they were following it. Anyway, the others also are going to follow this. No, I didn't tell before the start of this session. Already there is an inquiry from NIT Calicut to provide this tutorial, provide this live recording to them. Yesterday itself it came, so I think it's better to diverge this right now. So before that, I was not telling, I have not told Antonio sir regarding this. So they wanted the research scholars to follow this. So one faculty member called me and told, look, I want this session recorded and all. So we'll be sending it over to them. So thank you again, sir, for this beautiful session, wonderful session. We are blessed because you are an alumni of this college. So we cannot, and you're also very close to me. You're special for me. You two people are very special for me. And thank you so much once again, sir, from College of Engineering, Talasheri, and also from the name of all the participants, and on my personal name also. Thank you, sir. A big thank you. Thanks. A big namaste to you, sir. So we will be associating. We'll be associating in future also. And the participants also. I'm very happy that you all followed this. And I want to tell you one thing. See, our idea of doing 2 sessions with LaTeX was based on this. If at least 5 or 10 people are getting benefited out of the whole group, we are satisfied, or we are happy, or we are our mission, or our whatever we have intended has been satisfied. At least 5 or 10. The problem is that once you learn this is the best way in which you can create a project report or a document. And if you know this, you can create beautiful documents. Because in my thesis, I have not used this. I have used Word, and it was a hell of a difficult thing to change and all those things. But those people have done in LaTeX. They were having beautiful presentations and all those things. And you cannot compare the quality of a LaTeX document with that of a a Word document. Even I was under the impression that the name is LaTeX, and I was pronouncing it as LaTeX till now. When sir started telling that it is called as a LaTeX, then only I understood that okay, fine, the name is LaTeX, and I'm changing that first, so that I'm correcting that first, and I would like to learn more about this, and I'll follow the video. So Antonio sir, please remember that your video is much sought after, not only here, it's it's in the nearby region also. There is booking for your video. Okay then, and all the participants, I'm happy that you have followed this, and in your colleges also, please, in your personal life and colleges, try to implement this, so it will be useful for you. So thank you again, once again, Antonio sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing me such a good opportunity to present on these kind of topics. Because usually I used to give talk only on the CFD-based kind of softwares in OpenFOAM and ANSYS. So actually, for providing the talk on this Canva, PictoChart, etc., is the first time that I am giving such a talk. And I would like to thank Edu for providing such a wonderful opportunity for me to present in this esteemed FDP, in which almost I can see from all all over India. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Okay, sir. Thank you. Bye. And participants, we are going to have a very exciting session coming up, and that is Binish, sir. And I want to tell you in advance, please don't miss this particular opportunity of getting a free LMS in your institute. See, it is perfectly free, a free LMS. You will be in a position. The sir has also told that supposing in your institute, if you want to have an LMS system, Moodle LMS system set up, he will be in a position to help you remotely. So he will explain as to how this is being done and all. But look, this will not be a hands-on session, but you will have to follow whatever he is telling. He has already sent his a handout there. You can around 30 minutes or so, you can some time is there, so you can go through that particular handout. It's available in the WhatsApp group. Please go through the handout and come prepared, so that you will be you will be benefited in the next session. Please don't miss the next session. Next session is something that is going to be useful for your institute. Anyway, thank you for a patient hearing. Okay, we'll see back at 6 p.m. Okay, thank you all, and bye-bye.